Currently, we are here at ChosenCon, and we are now doing interviews. I'm going to do like 15, I think. 10 to 15. You guys ready? Let's go. Your portrayal of Mary Magdalene has resonated deeply with audiences. So especially in how you depicted her struggles and redemption, how does that make you feel for her entire arc through all these seasons, now being done with season 5 to season 6 and 7?
I'm grateful to get to portray a character that when we first meet her, she is in like the depths of despair. She's suicidal. She's struggling with PTSD, with possession, with addiction, and to get to watch her transform, even in that first episode of meeting Jesus and being healed. And then also the very, I think, realistic portrayal of growth over the next few seasons, which is sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We see her kind of go back to her old ways for a moment in season 2, which relapse is a very real thing for people and also relatable. And also it shows that, like, even if you do, you are still different now. You have grown a little bit, at least now. And you're in a different space. So, like, keep moving forward, keep trying. And we see that in this next few seasons of her really letting go of her past and letting go of the fear of it and the shame of it and realize where she's at and who she's around and the purpose of her life. And in season 5, I think especially, we see characteristics that we recognize in, I think, the traditional historical depiction of Mary Magdalene, which is this dedicated follower of Jesus, this type of strength where she doesn't care what anyone else in the world is doing. She doesn't care if she's in danger or if people hate her. She is there for Jesus, and she's following him to the very end. And I just love this beautiful transformation of such despair to such faith, and it's such a privilege to get to portray that.
There's a lot of humility behind that, and I appreciate your answer. And something else that you do phenomenal in is a movie I saw last night, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. How is it like different working on a film with Dallas compared to doing, now it's going to be a 7 episodic series? What is the difference that you notice in maybe his work tactic or how he just approaches scenes in general, for you especially?
I mean, the genres could not be more different, but Dallas is, his spirit, his genius, and his creativity kind of come through in both of those sets. He knows how to balance the drama and the comedy of life, which is so realistic. I think that's what people relate to. And I see that certainly in The Chosen, where things get a little heavy and then suddenly there's a light little joke to ease the tension. And in The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, you see sort of a flip of that, where everything's pretty funny, and then I have chills thinking about the ending of it. It shifts into something really profound and really serious and beautiful. And yeah, the last 20 minutes, I watched it last night for the first time. Wow. Last 20 minutes, I was just bawling. It's so, so sweet. And I can't wait for people to see it. It tells what Christmas is truly about.
Well, last 2 quick things. I'm going to embarrass my friend because I'm going to show him this video. He loves you. He's like, that's my future girl if I could ever make her my girl. And now I'm going to embarrass you, RJ, in front of everybody right now because I just met her. So I'm sorry, I just had to do that for him. The last fun question I have for you, I love movies. I love shows. I feel like it's kind of like a mini vacation for people who are having like, I'm having a bad week or I'm having a great week. It's just a fun 2 to 3 hour experience, especially when you have multiple episodes. What is a movie or show that hits you in that kind of capacity?
Oh my good, there's so many wonderful TV shows and movies. I think, you know, I know it's, yeah. I feel like it looks so confectionery and like stylish, but the storylines and the characters' growth and the humanity behind it has always gotten to me. And I'm also a sucker for mid-century everything. Mad Men has been like my just like dream of a show.
You should be in a spinoff.
I watch it so many times, I can't even tell you. I love especially, at first I didn't want to watch it because it seemed like it was just like very anti-women in a lot of ways. And to watch it from season 1 to season 7 and see the growth of all of the women and how everything changes and has transformed and they're empowered by the end. And then also just, I mean, yeah, the every character is so much deeper than what they appear. And I think the writing of it, the music of it, the acting in it, just my I think all-time favorite.
Well, now you inspired me to check it out because that's been on my list forever. Okay, thank you so much, Liz. You are an incredible talent, and I can't wait to see what else you has in store for your character in season 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, I can't either.
Let's see you blessed.
Thank you, you too.
The character that I can relate to the most is Judas, and his vulnerability, his just honesty, but also he wants to do the right thing. So how did you navigate what you personally deal with when you were talking about anxiety, when you were talking about doing the right thing, connecting with that? What made that more clear for you when you were portraying that character actually physically when you're on set?
Oh, no, it was very easy because I think if you're familiar with it, when you're extremely overwhelmed by anxiety, you want to do the right thing. And if anything, even more than that, you need to do the right thing. But being overwhelmed with those emotions, especially being in that emotional state, not having anyone to talk to, rely on, taking that breath, you can go in with the right and the best intentions, and you can make some really big mistakes because you're like, oh no, I have to confidently do this. I need to face my fears, and you're in that like adrenaline state that you say and do things that in like a calmer headspace you probably would not do, and later on you'll look and it's like, oh, why did I say that? We're beneficial because whenever that happens, we're on like a smaller scale. But Judas, his anxieties are at an all-time high because he's there in front of what would possibly be the kingdom of the Messiah. So he's like, this needs to go right. This can't go wrong, because if it goes wrong, everything is ruined. Our people's hopes and dreams are ruined. My life is ruined. We need to do this right. And to try and portray that is maybe the easiest thing to connect with, because that fear, that anxiety, that depression of not being good enough and needing to be safe and okay with yourself, it just all leads into itself, and it just adds up.
That's absolutely beautiful, because one other thing I wanted to pinpoint is, you know, a lot of people in scripture will pinpoint Judas as the villain. He is one of the biggest villains in the entire arc of the gospel. And for you coming to this role, how did it, like whenever you were reading for the role or whatever your background is when it comes to the context of the Bible, scriptures, how did your perspective change? Like, was there any preconceived notions you had of Judas than now after filming?
I think if there's anything that I learned throughout the show was an appreciation for the history, the political like state of having the people of Israel being overtaken by this militaristic state of the Roman Empire, being like subjugated in their own, like in their homes. That was something that my perspective of Judas has always been something very unique, especially with my family, my community, my culture. I'm always someone who loves to question things. So Judas didn't so much change, but the context of his surroundings, his atmosphere, definitely helped to add new colorful contexts, and I was happy to embrace those and integrate those into further developing this character. So that was fun.
Thank you so much for sharing. Two more quick questions. So what should we expect for Judas in the next upcoming season, for his character internally, externally, how it's going to affect everyone that's involved with the decisions that he's about to make?
Okay, so it's going to get really messy. Something's going to happen.
I think you said spicy yesterday, too.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm not trying to find the right words to describe it without saying the obvious spoiler that everybody already knows, so it's not much of a spoiler. But
Spoilers.
Yeah, no, it's going to be very heartbreaking, and I can't wait for everybody to see it.
Okay, that's a good answer. What's your favorite movie, off the cuff? Something that you love to watch?
Prince of Egypt.
I love you. Thank you. That's one of the most epic animated films of all time.
It's one of the most beautiful animated films.
You've seen Inside Out 2 yet?
I have.
Which one is better, first or second?
First. No offense to Inside Out 2. That movie's great, but it's no, like...
Respect.
I bring the storm.
First one.
Yeah, like...
It's a new hope.
It's
a new hope. That's the standard, guys. Inside Out 2 and Inside Out 1. Both comparisons to Star Wars.
Absolutely. You gotta... Although, I don't know if Inside Out 2 would... I don't know if it's the empire of the Inside Out universe.
Anxiety was pretty crazy.
Anxiety was awesome.
Oh my gosh, you remember me?
What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm doing good. Oh my gosh. By the way, congratulations on Lighthouse. Can you talk us about like a little bit behind that, why you wanted to bring this out into fruition?
Yes. So Lighthouse is a beautiful song that came to me as a collaboration. It was written by Aaron Andrew, and we ended up doing it in the studio with another old colleague of mine. His name's Keith Harrison Cooper. It's his full name. And he's super talented, and I've worked with him over the years. We've performed together, and we just had this song come to us, and we were like, what? We get to work with you. We get to work. So it was super fun to reunite with everybody. And that song itself is really just a beautiful love song. It's just about an undying love that's really committed and respectful of the other person's needs and where they are at the time. And so I just really loved it, and I thought it was a beautiful message.
One thing that I fell in love with the moment I saw the execution of your performance was when you fell at the feet of Jesus. What prepared you for that moment in front of all the people at the table? Like, it must have been something to like actually act it out, but then to like be on set and perform it. What did that do for you?
That, oh man, I think is gonna like affect me for years to come. But I think in the preparation of it, I just tried to read as much scripture as I could, the source material. Our writers are so talented, and they harness. When I look back at what they filmed and what's in scripture, it's really beautifully mirrored. And so I have to give credit to them for nailing that. And in my prep, it was really just like trying to be in tune with the Lord. She loves the Lord, and that's why she did that. And she has only gratitude for what he's done in her life. And so the only way I think to really harness that scene was to get very, very close to God and to ask for his help, because I can't do it. And everybody else knows that scene so intimately. It's like you want to nail it. So it was a big challenge, but it was very beautiful. And I think ever since that moment, I've had all these revelations of I'll be listening to a worship song and I'll realize, oh my gosh, they're referencing that moment. And it's a beautiful moment of worship. And so it infiltrates all these lyrics that you didn't even know were there until you shot it. And then you start to realize, oh my gosh, everybody wants to live out this moment in their own way on a daily basis.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. There is, obviously, you are knowledgeable. And speaking of knowledge, there sometimes comes learning. And with this coming season, by any chance, are you coming back for season 5?
I will be there. We will be there. Yes, it's very exciting. We were super thrilled to get the call, super thrilled to be on set with everybody.
I remember talking to you about that briefly, and I'm like, please let them come back now. So for that, what do we expect for Mary to learn in this season? Without any obvious spoilers, but what can we learn?
I think Mary is going to be having some moments of learning the gravitas of the situation she's involved with, and who this Lord of hers, this best friend of hers, this savior of hers really is.
Well, quick random question. Favorite movie? Just something you can always just pop on. Just something that can just take you to another place, right? It's like a mini vacation for 2 hours, right?
Yes. My Fair Lady.
Okay. Okay. Didn't expect that, but I love it. I love it.
Or, I mean, I have like 4, but like that one and the Bollywood movies that I grew up on. Yes. So
Did you ever see RRR?
No, but the one I'm thinking of is Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. I hope I said that right. Probably didn't. But it's a phenomenal film, and I just love Kajol so much. She's one of my favorite people on planet Earth.
Well, when I go back and re-edit this,
yes,
I'm going to go and specifically find the soundbite where you were talking about that.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Cool.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
Thank you. So good to see you.
Good to see
yes.
you.
Yes, you too.
One thing I've wanted to ask you for such a long time, I know it didn't really technically make the cut, but what was it like being in a Marvel project like Black Panther?
Man, that was such a dream because I'm such a Marvel nerd, and I got the notification for the audition, and it just said Untitled Marvel Project. And I auditioned for it. I had no idea what it was. I knew it was a Marvel movie, but that's all I knew. And then I got another email saying that I was pinned for the role, which means that like it's between you and maybe another person. But it said strong pin, so that meant that it was basically I was the first choice for it. And then I ended up getting the call that I got it, and that's when they told me it's Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and it was such an emotional feeling getting to be a part of that. And then, about a month later, flew out to Atlanta and shot it. Got to work with Martin Freeman, which was a dream. Ryan Coogler, who's amazing. And I'm so grateful it made the deleted scene, so I at least have the footage. Yeah, but it was, we ended up, I got a call a few months before it was released. My agent got a call from Sarah Finn, Marvel's casting director, and let her know that, it did end up in the deleted scenes, but we hope to find something else for Jordan down the road, which was really kind because I've never had a casting director do that. Like, you usually have to wait until the film is out to see if you made it or not. And yeah, that was really, really cool. But yeah, it was a dream, and Marvel, I would love to come back and do something else one day.
Come on, Marvel. Yeah. You heard it here, Kevin Feige. You want to bring back Ryan Coogler? Bring this guy back too.
Exactly.
Come on. Another awesome question I had for you was, when Jesus spoke about leaving them, why do you think it didn't fully register with little James? And how do you believe that impacted his emotional journey, even with season 5 today?
Yeah. I think, Jesus talking about leaving them is... For Thaddeus, Little James, and Mary Magdalene, I feel like the three of them are the best listeners of the group. Other ones, like, they're bickering, or someone like Nathaniel takes things very literally, and there's maybe like some of them read into things too much or whatever. And I feel like Little James, Thaddeus, and Mary are kind of just truly allowing themselves to hear what Jesus is saying. So I think Little James actually... he may not know exactly what's coming, but I think that he gets the gist of what Jesus is saying. But the thing with little James, I think, while he's quick to accept his circumstances, he's quick to accept what Jesus is saying, but he doesn't always understand why he's saying it or why it has to be this way. So I think for little James, there's like this struggle of like, I trust you, I'm here, I believe what you're saying, but I don't like it. I wish like I would have gotten a different answer when I asked why I'm not healed. I wish Rama could have, been saved and my friend Thomas wasn't grieving. I wish that you didn't have to leave us. But you're saying this is how it has to be. So it's like, okay. And, but there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm really eager to see when and how and if little James gets all of those answers eventually, because sometimes we don't get the answers that we're looking for. We just have to trust that, we're on the right path. And I am excited to see how that unfolds for little James.
Faith is not faith if it's not lived. I heard that recently in Rings of Power, fantastic series.
Yeah, so good.
And you guys carry that, like, the context of that. Like, the ability to also portray how big these characters are. Mm-hmm. It's so believable. And last thing I wanted to throw at you that's real fun.
Yeah.
What is a movie that you would consider your favorite or one of your favorites? Something you can easily go back to.
Okay, so let me pull this out. Do you have a letterbox?
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes I do.
Go add me.
Okay.
Let's see how many, go down. I want to see how many movies I've seen.
Oh, films.
Oh, there we go. 6,128
You saw
movies.
Rebel Ridge?
Yes, loved Rebel Ridge. It was
we saw it on the plane. Oh my gosh.
Intense.
Yes.
Jeremy Saulnier is a great director. Like Blue Ruin, Green Room are incredible movies. But yeah, I've seen so many movies. I'm such a cinephile. I would say my Letterboxd top 4, I have Take Shelter on there, Arrival, Life is Beautiful, and City Lights of Chaplin here on my arm. So those are the 4 that like I kind of go to. Stand By Me is probably way up there too. That was one of the movies that made me want to start acting. But for now, I'll say Arrival. Denis Villeneuve, who is one of the best directors working today. Amy Adams, who I love. It's sci-fi. I love sci-fi. And also as a parent, I I'm not going to spoil anything, but the film touches on parenthood and it's, I can't say too much without giving it away. Go watch Arrival. It will, if you're a parent especially, it will gut you. But it's incredible. The twist in it is one of the most mind-blowing, incredible twists I've ever seen in a film.
It so is. And by the way, Denis, if you're hearing this, get him in Dune Messiah.
Man,
I'm just saying.
I'll play one of the sandworms. I'll wear the whole motion capture suit, and I'll wiggle around on the floor if I have to. I'm in. Whatever you need me to do.
He basically just did the audition, so come on, Denis. Yeah, come on.
I'm used to walking around in the desert. I'm used to the heat. I'm good. I'm accustomed to it. So like, yeah, give me a call.
You already did all the work. Come on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Of course. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Be blessed.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, Kirk, how's it going? My hand's a little sweaty, so I apologize for that.
Kirk's my name. What's your name?
Kirk Joseph.
Joseph, nice to meet you.
By the way, I saw your. Oh, that's my wife, Alicia.
Husband-wife teams here today.
Yes.
That's really great. Nice to meet you.
I would not be here without her. She's actually the one that got me into the show. So like,
oh really?
A year ago, wasn't interested. No, about a year and a half. We had a fast at our church. We work at our church. Our pastor said, take Fridays off, and the only time that we dedicated to watch something in the week was Fridays. And one of my favorite arcs was watching you. And I think it was by season 3 we were doing that, and just seeing the gradual build for your character, being the centurion, because I didn't realize where your character was going until I saw where he ended up with the family, the servant, and more than just being a servant. What did that do for you to realize that, and then being on set to execute those beautiful scenes?
What do you mean by realize that?
So like for your character, and from season 1 to then season 3 and 4, and now even season 5, to see the trajectory of your character.
Yeah, when we started, Dallas, I've been working with Dallas for over 25 years, and he doesn't tell you anything. So when we started, I didn't know where Gaius was going. So when I read the scripts, it was just like the audience watching it. So it was a gradual progression. So I was just as surprised as everyone else. Oh, I'm married. Oh, I've got 2 children from 2 different women. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So I learned as I went. But the journey has been amazing, and a very profound and honor for me to embody that journey. And I couldn't be more blessed.
You also did great last night. I just saw the screening of the best Christmas pageant ever. Every time you're on screen, and everybody included with that, you absolutely killed it in showcasing fear of the Herdmans. Every time you're like, oh no. Right when they first show up at the church, I'm like, I might have had the same reaction too. But it just showcases your talent. And honestly, I think it's really cool how Dallas and you have had this for 25 years, right? Involving you in this movie. So from the difference for being in a show for these last couple of years with Dallas, then going into a movie that is so vastly different in genre, what did it feel like to go back into a movie, and any differences you noticed with Dallas and his approach to doing scenes?
What was great for me is, as Gaius, I'm constantly kind of to myself because it's a very intense role, but now I'm playing a reverend. So on set, I'm quiet, but when I played the reverend, I was literally introducing myself to all the background, because I felt like it was my church. So it was great to kind of come out and be forwardly nice and kind and make everybody feel welcome. So that was great. And Dallas always has the same approach, and that is just humanity, nothing too big. But he also, what was interesting about this film is that he didn't want it, not that he wanted it over the top, but he wanted it to be a little big. And I don't normally do that. I'm usually kind of very more intimate. So that was interesting to see his vision. And so it was always a little bit heightened. So yeah, it was a challenge, and it was fun, and ultimately it was great. It's just always amazing to work with Dallas and Amanda. So, and I got to say this, I haven't said this all day today. This has been the case all along. A Dallas Jenkins set is the best set you ever want to be on. I've been in a lot of big Hollywood productions, and there can be a lot of divas and a lot of, negative energy on set. But Dallas sets the tone, and it is kind, it is lovely. People are great. It's just the best set you ever want to be on. So it was the same way up there in Canada, shooting the best Christmas pageant ever.
He's a legend for doing that while in between seasons. I think it was like 2023 winter, right? You guys did it up in Canada?
We did it, yeah, last winter. Yeah, I have not experienced, it was 30 below. 30 below. That's Fahrenheit.
Canada last night. He was like, don't give Canada a compliment. Don't do it.
It was so cold, man. And we have a couple of night scenes. You just really have to get your mind focused as an actor and think warm thoughts. You know, you might be in a jacket and you got to take it off. But 30 below, it's intense. Your lungs literally start to freeze. You can feel it. So you have to I'd have to, if I was walking in the street, I had to cup my mouth so that I was breathing warm air. It's intense. Have you ever experienced that?
I don't want to, because you're telling me, I'm like, okay, don't go there during the winter. Noted. I am noting that now.
Winnipeg, Canada, I would not recommend it in the winter. It's a wonderful place, but cold. Yeah. See it till I know.
Well, last question for you, something fun. So clearly, you're in the business. What is a movie that you love to rewatch or go back to, or something that even came out recently that just kind of hit you?
That I like to watch over again?
Yeah. It could be like anything, just something that is considered one of your favorites, something that's just easily rewatchable.
I'm not a huge person that like has favorites. Sorry, I'm very boring. I don't have like favorite colors or what's your favorite food? I don't know. Favorite music? I like all music. Anyway, there is one, and this might be a surprise. What is the name of the film? I think it's called Notting Hill. Julia Roberts. Yeah. I don't know what it is about that film. I just find it so charming and funny. And she has one of the lines, to me, one of the best lines I've seen in cinema. And that line where she, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love me. Like, she just, every time, I get emotional just thinking about it. It's just so simple and beautiful. And she does such a beautiful job. So I don't know, that whole film always touches me. I know that doesn't seem like a Gaius answer, but I like it.
I love that because
there's a lot of humor in that film too. You know what I mean? There's all the actors, the British actors, they're just great cast too.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. Gaius likes rom-coms and romances. Let's see. Hey, how's it going? Hands are sweaty. My apologies about that.
It's not.
I know. It's the business sometimes.
I've shaken worse. Hi.
This is my wife,
Good
Alicia.
to meet you. Like, this is like, is that a criteria that you have to be a couple to be able to interview the
You're like the
guests?
second person who's acknowledged how many people are couples. I didn't even realize that until now.
Well, it's like boom, 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 boom. There's like maybe another 3 or 4 couples there. So
I'm like, would I rather bring one of my good bros with me or my wife? My wife. My wife, hands down. Come on.
yes.
So one thing
She's recording this.
I know. I don't want to get in trouble. Good points. Bonus points for Joseph today.
Cameras. It's like,
Come on. For you, one thing that I just found out, because I watched it once, and then I went back to the scene. You're in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
yes.
You were in front of phenomenal actors like Phoebe, Harrison. What was it like meeting them and being on set for just like those brief moments during that ultimate chase sequence right through the city?
Yeah.
What was that like on set, and how did you even get involved with the project?
It's very easy. The casting director for the film got me a part in The Mauritanian, which was The Mauritanian was a film that came out 3 years before that, 2 years before that, and she remembered me from that. And they had something that happens with an actor on Indiana Jones that required a replacement. So she thought of me. It was I was a very different profile from the previous guy, but they called me in from one day to the next and said, "Would you be interested in stepping in?" So that's how I got the part. I didn't even audition, which was amazing. Yeah, and then I was involved right away and on set with those huge, obviously. Artists that were, I have to say, I prepped myself up because I was already on The Chosen, and I was kind of like thinking, here I am on this amazing project, The Chosen, with very a very comfortable setup because everyone is egoless and very welcoming, and this is a family and everything. So I thought to myself, I'm going to go on Indiana Jones. This is me going back to a full-on Hollywood production with a huge studio behind, with all of that. Yeah. And I had past experiences where I was like, don't go in with your full kind of heart open because you might get stung, so to speak. So I went in thinking, brace for whatever might come. And you know what? It's been wonderful. Like, they were as warm as people in this production. Harrison Ford was amazing. He was like this grandpa figure with his sense of humor that was on and off camera. Phoebe is like the smartest and wittiest person around, and she's amazing. So it was very easy for me to just come in, and I dove in, and felt like a fish in the water, really.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You started being a stuntman, right?
Yes, yeah.
So I have to ask you this. What did you think about The Fall Guy?
I
even saw
loved The Fall Guy. Yes.
What do you think about the campaign about should stunts be on the Oscars? Should that be a nomination?
Yeah, they should definitely. They should have been in the Oscars yesterday. Like that's something that's still not happening, and God knows why. But I don't know. But I think there's so many advocates for it, and it's going to happen. Yeah, they won't be able to ignore that for much longer. So, but
I agree with you.
It's such an important part of the industry, of the process of filmmaking, and it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, time will tell. But yeah, the Fall Guy is definitely a huge contribution to making that change. So yeah,
it helps when it's actually good quality content with a good story.
Yeah, that was a very kind of relatable, accessible view on that world in that film. And obviously David Lee has such a strong experience and history in that in that aspect. So he I love that he's making it his mission to make it, to show more of that to the world. And I'm hoping to. I mean, I love his movies, so that's yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good to meet you, man.
I hope you're in more Marvel projects.
Thank you. I love that. Good to see you.
Good to see you. For you, being the woman at the well is a story that resonates with many women, and my wife being one of them. Because of the tender love that Jesus extends her, that loud love for him that changes a whole town and then changing the world, what can we learn from her unapologetic expression of freedom?
Freedom. Oh my gosh, you can learn that in that freedom, your past is your past. Those chains are broken, and now it's about living a new life in him. Yeah, I think that's really what it's about. And then being ready to share that with others, because I feel like so often we want to keep it to ourselves. We want to have this close relationship with Jesus, but that's part of it. You do want that relationship with him, but it's also about how are you spreading your light to others? How are you allowing others to go, what? You're different. What is it about you? Oh yeah, I'm a Christ follower, and I think that says a lot. Yeah.
So now that you brought it up, so being a believer, what did it mean to you to be in this role?
It meant everything for my journey as an actor and my journey in my faith with God, because prior to this role, I saw acting as something that I did for me. I only did it for me. It fulfilled me. I loved it, and it was what I wanted to do, but I never saw it as something that I could do to honor God. And then through this series, it's just totally transformed that for me. Moving forward in my career as an actor, I do a lot of work that's not faith-based. But for me, I can see each role as a gift from him, and I can see it as an opportunity to tell a story that needs to be told. So a lot of times now, I pray about the roles that are placed before me. Okay, God, is this a story that I need that has a message that's powerful, or a message that can speak, to its audiences? And so that's helped me to determine what roles I take and what roles I might pass on. But I do see roles as gifts from him, and an opportunity to allow others to be transformed. And if they draw closer to God through it as well, then that's even better, So it's really given me a sense of purpose as an actor. And then being able to watch it, once I was able to watch the Chosen with my family, and especially that scene, I mean, it was like, I remember my mom turning to me and being like, I told you. For years, she would be like, you have such talents, and I want you to use it to honor him. Like, how can you use it for him? It's like, well, Mom, there's no faith-based work out there. I'm not getting, you know. And so for my mom, I know it was so incredibly rewarding to see, you know, me take those gifts that were given to me and use them for him. Yeah.
Favorite movie, real quick. Just something that, like, doesn't have to be your number one, but just something you can always go back to.
My favorite movie. So it's got to be a kid movie because those are like all the movies I'm watching right now. Oh my gosh, what would I say? You know, there's a movie right now that I saw a couple years ago called Onward, and I loved it because it's a Disney movie, but it's about brothers. And it was so powerful. I have 3 boys. So it was really touching for me because it's about brothers realizing that all they have, you know, when they lose a parent, you know, is each other, that they have each other. And it was so profound. And I was weeping at the end of this movie because I'm like, this is what it's about. I'm raising these boys to be good humans, but also to rely on each other, to have each other in good times and in bad. And so, yeah, that was a really powerful movie. Disney, man. They just know how to do it. They know how to get us.
They do. That's one of the most underrated Pixar films, I think. It doesn't get enough love. It came out right when COVID was breaking out, and then it went immediately to, like, streaming. Yeah. Just immediately.
I mean, it gets a little odd and strange. There's some moments where you're like, oh gosh, this is, you know, the dad is like half full, half, you know. But I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it for audiences, but I love it. The message was so beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much. Can I give you a hug?
Yes,
awesome.
Of course. Oh my goodness, thank you.
Be blessed.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.